Alright, hello again YouTube. Once more welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Today, we're returning to the moon base, or the Minmus base, ready to run some of the last experiments before we move on to whatever our next mission is. Something interesting's happened. We appear to have lost connection, but we are also clearly in range of that. Is it because the relay that the satellite's using is not connected? We'll time warp a little bit until we regain connection. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Why are we out of connection? This was working last time. Did we break an antenna at some point? I don't think we did. Oh, the mystery ghost actually transmits some data back. I'm not sure why we're apparently out of connection, but as far as I can tell, we are connected. I'm not really sure what's happening there. I might have to check some of our relays, because that's weird. But am I on the wrong thing? Is that what this is? Am I not controlling the base? It's the flag. Minhome. Status connected. What is going on? Why can't we run any of our oh, that we probably can't run because it's not because we don't have a crew on board, is it? It's not because Stelbert's down here, is it? 'Cause she's the pilot, right? Hang on. It shouldn't be, but we'll try putting her on board. Yeah. Huh, I guess it was her. That's weird. Right, anyway. So we'll run the experiments for now anyway. Oh yeah, we're controlled again. We have connection again. So it's just... Oh, it could be because we have the cupola, and the cupola doesn't... It's a slightly odd command module that doesn't quite work in the same way as the others. It could be that. Anyway, crew report. Transmit. Keep an eye on our electrical power as we transmit the science experiments, but we're going to transmit them and then clean them all up and do them again and send the data to the lab, which has also already got us some science. Is Minmus made of ice cream? Will the plants grow in it? You beg for R&D's permission to for this test. Do it. We've got spare plants, apparently, clearly, if we can clear them out and grow more. Do it. I want to know. Serve the materials bay. To explain where we're at with this one, with this mission, because we've sort of jumped right in a bit more with the current way I'm running them. Wait for my brain to catch up and remember what I'm talking about. Yes, this mission is basically meant to be a miniature version of our space program's big final goal, which is to go and explore Minmus, Eeloo, with a full colony. And this, on Minmus, is our sort of miniature equivalent. This is Minbase. Pressure this data. Yep. Gravity data. Transmit. And again, to sort of test run it, we have built a miniature base. We had a contract for it, which we've completed. We had to slightly cheese a few bits of it, but we did do it. And at the moment, we are gathering data both to send back to Earth, or Kerbin, and also to use in the lab. Resource analysis. Have a look in here. Uranite. 9.5%. And ore 13%. There's uranium here. This isn't a bad spot to mine. Yeah, we could actually go mining here and get reasonably good results for both uranium for reactors and ore for fuel. That is interesting. Or other resources. Let's also observe local space. You attempt to measure the spectrum of a bright star, looking for any additional absorption lines, searching for hints of an extended exosphere or cometary envelope on Minmus. It seems to be a very faint absorption feature which you can't match to the star's database. Interesting, I think. I know what most of that means. Did this one actually work? No. Okay, so the atmospheric analysis does not work here. Right, clean the experiments. Alright, in terms of science data at the moment, the lab has already, after a few days, generated 200 science, and we still have most of it in there, which would give you the idea of the amount of sort of science output that labs can create. It's a lot. So, clean experiments. I think that's what they're doing already. We will we'll transmit the science already in there for for a bit of a clean start. Whoops, I think we just stopped the research. Alright, modules completed. Right, transmit science. This is going to use a bit more power, but we have fairly substantial solar panels. I think we should be able to... I think we're matching the power drain for the antenna at any rate. Or if we aren't, it's very close, so we should be fine to get the full data upload. So in the meantime... Oh, view stored data. That's the other thing we could do. We can send the EVA reports back. And the other thing we could do is also bring our last Kerbal on board. But we'll... they can stay out there and have a look around for now. Yeah, we'll transmit the EVA report. Yeah, in fact, we'll have Stelbert come out, take another EVA report, surface samples and all that, and then she can put those in the lab because we'll have to gather the data from outside the craft again as well for optimal results because we want to fill the lab up with data if we can. That might well be possible. 234 science. Transmit the 40 science from that. We already have the EVA science experiment, so we can chuck that straight in the lab. And we'll transmit the surface sample. I notice that's going to be a huge amount of data. Surface sample. We'll have Stelbert get out so we don't have to do multiple trips. Right. Oh, yeah, don't remove helmet. God, that was the wrong button to click by accident. Right. Take the surface sample. Take an EVA report. Back in the craft. Carefully. Right. Review stored data. Into the lab. And into the lab. And I think the lab is full. No, we've still got some space left. Yeah, the data doesn't seem to translate one-to-one. The amount of data you put in doesn't necessarily seem to come through. We put 1,000 in, but we're only up to 800. Not really sure what's going on there. Right. To the lab. To the material bay. Send the data to the lab. Yeah, that gave us about 100, despite the fact it said about 800. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Pressure display, lab. Gravity, lab. Seismic sensor. You guessed it, lab. And we're actually nearly full. I don't actually think we'll have enough for the rest of the remaining experiments. Ooh, we've got the magnetometer. I forgot about that. Might as well extend it at any rate. We cannot do an experiment, though. We should have grabbed that while we were in space. I completely forgot we even had that. Right. So, if you have a look at the data, 30 science a day. Really high. Like, crazy high. Right. So, we're going to time warp a little bit. Maybe not too far, but... it does look like it loses power at night, so... That is going to slow down. We'll do one full science loads of data. And then we'll go out for our next mission. So, we've filled up. There's transmit science. I don't know if there's a way to have it do it automatically. Okay, we do need to wait for our relay to come back into range now. Which it has, even though it's nighttime. Oh. Should have had Actually, no, we had power issues before. Let's wait until it's daytime. We need to have both a signal and it to be daylight. That'll do it. Alright, transmit science. Yes, you can time warp through transmissions. Ooh, 15 messages. We better check what that is in a second. It might be these devices also sending science, but right, we've got a whole bunch of science from our first step in the thing. First step in the base's operations. It'll be able to do more later. Okay. Oh. Iron Collector, 500. Mystery also, they finished. They both ran experiments through. Telling me I can't deploy things because they're not on the surface of the planet. Okay, I think that's all of it. Right, Space Center. Let's see how we're looking. Aside from in need of a few new crew, because we have actually used all our engineers now, I believe. Is it engineers or scientists? Scientists. We will actually need to hire at least one new scientist for future missions, and also decide what our next mission will be. Maybe we were saying about a big long-range relay for other missions, and we do frequently find our two other relays busy. So perhaps an even higher altitude relay with a really powerful Omni antenna that should always have connected to base. That could be a way to do it. And then plan our next long-range mission. Maybe a probe out to somewhere like Dres. They haven't been to yet. 1,500 science. Either way, whatever we do, we'll have the science to do it. Let's have a look what would be good. So there's a few things we could take. We could take bigger probes. It does have some big antennas. We could take ion engines. Could be good to move on to some of our sci-fi technologies. Automation gives us the actual MechJib core, which is cute. I don't know if it's tremendously useful, but it does give us some other antennas. But they're not Omni, which is less good. Just mean it's not too bad, but it does mean we'll have to actually, click on them and actually do stuff with them. Batteries and antenna. Is that an antenna? Oh, Omni range. Oh, 3 million. That's not quite as good as even some of the ones we have. Solar panels. Short-term habitation would give us some proper hab blocks and living spaces, which we don't really technically have yet. Ion is tempting, as is potentially again the heavier command modules. We've been looking at those for a little while. Landing wheels and gear as well, another option. Advanced actuators, don't need that. Flight, we're pretty much skipping over space planes for the moment. We'll need them later, but... Oh, fuel tanks, that's what we said a little while back we wanted. Yes, we do want bigger fuel tanks. We're going to take high-performance fuel systems. So it gives us experimental rocketry as an option that we can nearly take. As well as specialized fuel storage. We could get our first nuclear reactor, the Kerbal part, which would not be a bad idea. That's a good way of generating power far out. Probably when we go to Eeloo, we're probably going to need that. Because Eeloo's kind of too far out for solar panels in a lot of ways. We actually don't get much power from solar panels all the way out there. I think what we might do, even if we maybe won't use the reactor just yet, we'll take heavy command modules, because I like these bigger command pods, the 4-man Pandora pod especially. Not so sure we need the... Although the Tethys could be nice, because it's an upgrade in the Nereid that's done us good in the past. But we'll take, for now, we'll take the reactor. And then we've got 300, we could take something else maybe. Maybe the landing. We've looked at that before, that could be good. Landing gear is not so important, but the 10-meter heat shield will be useful, and the base frames are actually large enough for our bases. Yeah, we'll take that. Cool, we have some improved technology. Mission control, what are we doing next? Are we just going to build our relay? Do we think that's best, or... Science data from the surface of Minmus, that would be easy. Or from Duna, there's some mining missions coming in now. Rescue someone who's stuck on the surface of the moon. He's a scientist, that would be useful. Do we know what he is? No. Volcanic rock. Construction of a rover on the moon. Surveys of Minmus. We've got some tourism missions. 3 tourists to visit an asteroid. Would that work for our... That would work with our existing asteroid, right? We've got an asteroid up there. 1 tourist to visit an asteroid. We could bring 4 tourists to an asteroid. We could test our new... Yeah, tell you what, it's a small thing. But rather than our relay, we'll do that next episode maybe. We're going to take both the asteroid contracts. And we're going to bring some tourists up to visit our asteroid that's in orbit already. Because I believe we still have one up there. They can go visit the big rock. And we can scan it. We can see what the that asteroid scanner has to tell us. I don't know if it gives you science data or what, but somewhere is the rock hound. Yes, there it is. It's at a slightly awkward orbit, but we do have one up there. So, this won't need to be too big. This will probably want to be about 5,000 Delta V. And we'll test out that new 4-man crew module. Maybe have it drone controlled aside from that. The actual control will be a probe, and then the tourists get to enjoy the pod. Like I say, we probably want to keep our rep up with the tourist board. I don't think there's actually any mechanic for it, but you know, they have paid for most of our space program so far, and it's another like 1,300,000, I think. So this will really be like making a big difference for our budget. It's actually the sort of amount that A, will make a big difference, and B, the sci-fi engines, the really high-tech stuff that we're starting to get towards now, we're getting things like the reactor. That actually does cost quite a lot. It does cost millions for some of those parts. So, having a bit of a backlog of money wouldn't be a bad idea for when we get to that point. Reroute. Make the drone call the control point. It will need chutes to land with, but we also need to grab it. What is this little... Don't know what this little bit does. I wonder if it does anything, but I guess not. Right. Tell you what we can do with it if we can... Oh, I was going to say we could put some lights on it, but... No, apparently not. Right, what was the bit I was actually looking for? Parachutes. I don't know how heavy this thing is, so I'm going to go for 3 radial chutes and assume that's probably fine. It's big, but it's not enormous, this core. It's just meant for the 10-meter heat shield. Sure, looks like it could be. Tell you what, let's test it. We'll use this as a bit of a technology test bed as well. That heat shield is, if anything, massively oversized for this this mission, but we're going to try it. This will be it'll be a rocket. We haven't done a new regular rocket designation in a while. This will be the RO Rock Investigator. The combination mission tourist trip. So we wanted it was the surface scanner, wasn't it? Yeah, this could apparently scan asteroids, which I didn't realise. I don't know if that gives you science or just info about what the rock's got in it or what, but we're going to take a look at it. Right, then we're going to need a... Oh, why not? We'll have a separator. Doesn't make much of a difference, but we'll have a separator this time. Whoop. Right, I forgot. Caught. We'll need a little bit of a module to get us up there and a bit of RCS fuel. Tell you what, actually, let's do 2 RCS tanks and we'll do RCS everything for this upper stage. We'll have... where's that orbital maneuvering engine that runs on monopropellant? Maybe that one. Maybe the other one. Let's see what the other one gives us performance-wise. It's not that one. It's the... Hang on, search my size. It's not you. It's the other one. You. That gives us 2100. 1700 there. Nope, that is just worse. Why would you use this one over the other one? What are we looking at? 350 thrust. No, 560 thrust. 337. And the flat one is... worse, but it's lighter. Okay, so on heavier crafts that would be better, but thrust to weight works out better for this one. Right. Going to need solar panels. Yeah, that's about right for the size of this craft. It's into a tremendously sophisticated mission in a lot of ways. A couple of batteries. That should be fine. We will need RCS. We need actually monopropellant this time. Well, not monopropellant, we need the large ones this time because we had a bit of trouble with the small ones being too small. Our previous flight. Platform, yep, and then this has already got thrusters in it, so that should be fine. Right, so that's our upper stage, and then we need about 3k to get it. Well, 4k to get it into orbit. We want to get this whole thing into orbit properly, really. Tell you what, actually. No, we'll leave that. Right. So a coupler. Whoa, bit big. Little large fellas. There we go. We do have some larger tanks, larger than the Jumbo now. I think, yeah, we've got the nice big 3 and 5 meter one. Is it a 5 meter actually? Yeah, there's a 5 meter. We've got the little Saturn V attachment point thing there. Right, we want a mainsail skipper. What are we looking at? Skipper might work actually. Ooh. How are we looking? No, okay, it doesn't need to be a mainsail. Right. Can we do a boat tail? Yeah. I don't normally use the boat tails, but I figured like, hey, let's try it. But we will want more fuel than that. Let's add another half tank. If I can find it. There it is. I'm just thinking because we need RCS to dock and we're going to need it to deorbit. Tell you what, we'll upgrade that to another jumbo just in case. I'm probably overbuilding this. But we have money at the moment. This is going to pay a huge amount. Easily pay off itself and extra. A long shot, so We want to make sure it works first time because there's tourists on board. They tend to complain when you do things like blow them up, so... not for very long, I'll admit, but they do complain, so... Right. Couple. Detach. Engine. Yep. Cool. Okay. And crew. That's the other thing. Tourist. Gregapond. Seawig. Mola Kerman. And Jordan. Just Jordan. Although spelt differently, but... all the weird names and then just Jordan. I am Steve. I'm hoping to join the space program. Radio. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the series so far. That's one thing I should probably check. Again, feel free to leave suggestions of things for future missions in the comments. I do read them. I enjoy making this series, but I'm also hoping you guys are actually enjoying watching it. I know our missions have been both a little all over the place and also a bit confined to the Kerbal system. I don't know whether people would prefer I did more leaving the system, going further out. I would like to do more of that stuff. I'd like to do a Duna Return mission, which we could even prioritize doing soon. It probably is doable with the technology we have at the moment. We need a bit of working out, but I think actually by now we've got that those larger fuel tanks specifically. I think this is a mission. That is a mission we can do. 85 and 75. Yeah, 80. This is going to do a tiny bit of orbital finagling. Right. Hopefully it gets it about right first time. Engage autopilot. Oh. Antenna. 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 I knew there was something. There's always something. A little niggling feeling in the back of my mind like, Doug, you've forgotten something. What is it, brain? I'm just like, I don't know, but you've forgotten it. File not found, but we know it's not found. So this is the remember-all from Harry Potter, where it's like, I know I've forgotten something, and it isn't telling me what. Which is probably the most crucial bit. But I would absolutely love one of those. So ground, it's like, what am I not doing? Right. What is actually the range on these things? They've been reliable for us. 1.5 million. Okay. Yeah, perfectly fine for our mission. We're barely going above like 0.1 million, so in fact we're not even reaching 0.1 million. It's 0.075 million, so roughly. So yeah. I tell you what, I'm starting to think we could do. We could do with like a 50 million antenna. I don't know if there is one that sort of covers that sort of bandwidth. Sort of communications around the Kerbal system, but like a 50 million Omni. I don't know if that's doable, if that's even an option, but that would be very nice if we could get something like that. Mind you, they might be combinable to some degree, so I suppose you could put a load of them as a sort of cluster. I'll have to have a look. Check if that is indeed the case. Rock out. Okay, launching. Let the autopilot do its work. Just checking we've got 4 tourists on board. Check. Oh, it's being fussy. It wants a pilot. Okay. Yeah, I figured I'd do pre-launch checks. I should probably check these before I leave the hangar, really, but it's like, it's fine, we've got everything. It's like, nope. Nope, they require a pilot on board, apparently. Guess someone's got to talk them through the safety procedures or something? I don't know. Right. That's fine, easy enough. Station court. Four shoots now, at least. That's actually going to be a bit beefed up. We've got a huge heat shield, so re-entry shouldn't be a problem, and we'll put a Kerbal on board the station core. Tell you what. We'll have both pilots on board. We'll have Bill and Val. Or Bill? Bill and Val? What am I talking about? Jev and Val. And it won't matter if we don't have connection or not. Now, I suppose the probe core is kind of redundant, but it's fine. It's a backup. You might complain at not having a pilot on board, but I'm willing to bet they'll be happy to let a probe land them if it gets them home in one piece. I said I was thinking we could take them out for a space tour, spacewalk around the asteroid, but if we could access their inventory, we could actually have them take a little space tour around the asteroid in the jetpack. Don't know if I'll worry about that, but we could have the... I might be interested to see what the Kerbins could do with it. If the Kerbals could take, like, asteroid samples or anything. I've never tried that. We might have to try that. I might get one of the two pilots out once we're there. Oh, my, I don't think we'll be able to get out the station core. I don't think it has a hatch. Oh, well, it's fine. We've got the scanner on it anyway, so we're going to try that on it. Right, rocket on. Says target. Everything good. Note. And I believe it's just component asteroids. I believe we just have to get it to an asteroid. So, wants to rendezvous. Hopefully the RCS centre of mass is still okay, because we've moved that. I forgot about adjusting that, but I think we'll be okay. We've only got to dock with it once, then deconnect. As long as we have enough fuel to land afterwards, that's the main thing. By land, I mean basically just drop it out of orbit. Yeah, I'm interested to see how the inflatable heat shield works. Does it float if we land in the water? Does it... We'll maybe have to try a water landing if we can manage it. I want to see if this inflatable heat shield floats. If it does, we could use that potentially. Some future missions. We could do water landings on Lathe or something. Yeah, well, our main goal is to get to Eeloo, and we probably could actually go out there already with something. I'm not in too much of a hurry. Like, I'd like to build a bit of a space program as well as doing our big goal. Right, we should have just enough time left this episode to finish this little mission. Again, I'll try to keep it to about half an hour at the moment. If it is running a bit over, I'll have to pause it there and we'll come back to this in the next one, but we'll see how it goes. Let's turn the lights on, yeah. Give everyone a bit of a view. Let's see what they do. What their new pod is like. They've got the new model. Okay, so it's 4 abreast. Looks like they've got some improved features in here. Actually, they've got bigger display screens, larger control panels. What? 4th king for a what? Primary pattern alert. Should we be worried about that? Mission log. Stardate. Is that a Hang on. Well, for one thing, Crisis is all reported something. I'm not the only one who thinks that says FAB Thunderbird 1, am I? I really hope that says FAB Thunderbird 1. I am a big Thunderbirds fan. That is a very cute little reference, if that's what that is. And I'm pretty sure that's what that says. It's a little low res to read. I do have the settings up as high as they'll go, but I guess maybe that is just as high res as they get. What's the light? I was wondering what that was. What purpose does this part of the rocket serve, guys? Is that one of the lights on the pod? Oh, it is! It's a forward spotlight. This is a slightly sinister glow. I like that. I don't know what that's about, but I do like it. I actually don't know what our when it's gonna choose to stop its orbit or ascent. This one, I guess 80. Looks like it's gonna take us near it, but I think we are gonna need rendezvous autopilot to actually bring us to the station. We should have enough Delta V to do that, depending on how much it takes us to our circularize. We'll arm the claw now, so don't forget. Claw armed. Yeah, so for those of you who weren't there for the previous asteroid encounter mission, you basically just have to arm a claw and bump into it at about a meter a second or so. You don't want to hit it too hard, but you do need a tiny bit of speed to get the claw to engage with it properly. Obviously, if you hit it too hard, you just break things, but hey. It is Kerbal. That is to be expected to some extent. Turn the panels out. I realised they had little chamfered edges. Oh well, they still look good. And they're gaining us power, which is the main thing. Nice screenshot time, potentially. Yeah, the tourists seem to be coping rather well, actually, I would say. And, of course, our stoic pilot's looking fine as ever. Oh, I didn't even... That's interesting. I can access their... Oh, yeah. No, I was going to say that's normal. Yeah, I can access their inventories, but they don't have the jetpacks. I don't know whether they can operate them or not. I'm pretty sure it looks like we can give them jetpacks as extra cargo, but I guess they don't start with them by default at any rate. Which does make the rocket lighter. I do believe it doesn't add much, but internal equipment does have weight. So, you know, tiny bit of a weight saving. A little bit strange I don't get them parachutes as standard. You think, I know I'm doing it to save budget, but you think the base game would give them a little bit of a safety equipment by default. This should be stopping at stage 2. And we'll ditch that stage actually once this burn's finished, because we don't want to be trying to lug around all that while we're trying to maneuver. Tiny little pulse to get us away. Right. Starboard. Oh, what's our closest? Oh, that's pretty close actually. We do rendezvous autopilot now. That actually might do a matching planes. Okay, it's going to match planes when we're near. It might actually do a on closest approach intercepting target or whatever it's called. It might actually. We might already be close enough for that, but we'll see what it does. But yeah, basically it needs to match orbit. Again, we have to be a bit careful because our RCS and our fuel are the same thing, which makes the rocket a lot simpler and lighter, but also means if we run out of one, we can't do the other, and we also need some to deorbit. What we might be able to do, though, because I believe there is plenty on board, if we're really low on RCS, on monopropellant by the time we dock, I believe the Rockhound has a bunch of RCS on board that it mined before, so we'll be able to refuel from there. This is why sometimes it's good to leave your old hardware lying around. However, I think we're going to be out of time for this recording, considering how long this is probably going to take. Hopefully you've all enjoyed this episode. As I try to remember to say in these things, I make games as well as playing them and recording them. So if you want to check it, support the channel, best way to do that by a long way is take a look in the description. You'll find links to the games that I've made. There's 2, both of which I've either played or I'm doing a playthrough on the channel, so you can also check them out there. And yeah, hopefully you've all enjoyed. I'll see you guys all again next time. Bye-bye for now.